Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This top 10 list is the top 10 notes I found in my bank horde hunt. My last hunt was the Smallhead Bank Hunt Horde, and before that, I did all of the old $1 bills that I found when I went to do a $1,000 search. So I combined those two, and I want to show you the top 10. Now, you guys saw me sell off all of the small head, larger denomination bills. I still have a couple of the 20s left. I still have a couple of the 50s left. Thank you guys for jumping in and helping out that way. I told you guys to start with, I did pull some notes for myself, and this top 10 list is going to show you the notes that I found in the singles and in the larger denomination small heads. I was able to use the small size U.S. paper currency or paper money book, which I had just recently picked up in order to discover some of them. And of course, I used paper money of the United States in order to get some of my prices as well. So let's take a peek at my top 10 finds from the last two bank hauls. Number 10, I found a buck. Number 9, no, I'm kidding. Number 10, this, as you can see right here, is a 1998A, 1988A, I should say, 1988A $1 bill, and you'll notice it was, let me get my pen, right here, it was a web press note. This is an experimental note that I found in that series. Now, normally, right here, next to the number, you're going to see a letter, and the letter indicates the place on the sheet that the note was printed. And then next to it is the plate number that was used in printing. But because web notes were printed on a continuous roll, just like a newspaper, there was no location. So in order to identify a web note, all you do is look for that teeny tiny number and nothing else. Sometimes it'll say FW here. That means the note was printed in Fort Worth. That wouldn't be a web note. There weren't any web notes printed in Fort Worth. So that's that. On the back, normally the plate number is down here, but on a web note, the plate number is up here. And the plate numbers are usually going to be single digits, as far as I know. It may go up to 10. But that is number 10. My Webby, this one is $15 to $20 in that range. Number 9. Number 9 is a 1950B $10 bill, and it's a star note. Star note from 1950B. Take a look at the back. This one is in pretty good condition. I checked it out in the book. It goes for, it said $57.50 if I remember right, and that's that was if it was a 40, I believe. So yeah, this one's in pretty good shape. It's a little bit dirty there, but the rest of it's in decent shape. The $10 1950B star note from Chicago, like I said, about $57 or so. That's number 9 on the list. Number 8, I pulled another star. This one is from 1950, a 1950D. This one is from Chicago, and it's a star note as well. $20 star note in really nice shape as well. It does have a little smudge mark here. It's not a smudge, it's a dirt mark or something there. But the bill's in pretty good shape. Take a peek at the back. The book on this one was somewhere in the neighborhood of $65 or so. So finding a $20 bill worth $65, always a good thing. That is number 8 on my list, $20 star note. Number 7, found a $10 bill. This one is in really, really good shape, and it's right here, 1950E. The 1950E series did not have a lot of notes printed. In fact, I think there was only 4 Federal Reserves that had 1950E. Chicago, of course, would be one of them. And it's in really good shape. One book listed this at $55. The other book said it was about $80, so I put $55 just to have a number associated with that bill. But yeah, because the E series was so short printed, $55 to $80 on this particular one. So that's the 1950E $10 Federal Reserve note. 10987. Number 6. Number 6 would be my 1934A $100 bill. I saved this one for myself. It does have a little bit of writing on there. Pretty sure that's just, yeah, it looks, I'm not sure if that's pencil or pen on there. I hope it's just pencil. I can probably try using a gum eraser to get that off. 1934, a $100 bill. Interesting number, 1221 3243, so all fairly low numbers there. Let's take a peek at the back. Now, this one only booked out at about $115, but this one is a mule. Now, what a mule is, I mentioned this one time before. In 1934, they printed this face, and they printed this back. And then for the 1934A series, the signatures changed. So in 1934A series, they had to change this plate, but they still had a bunch of the back plates that were still good enough to use. So this particular bill shows a 1934A front plate, and the back plate, if you look right here, you can see the plate number on the back. That one says 76. On these particular notes, if you have a back plate that is from, 112 and less, that would be considered a mule, because the plates that were 112 and lower weren't designed for the 1934A, they were designed for the 1934. So when you have a back plate that doesn't match the front plate, that is a mule. And I don't mean the numbers matching. That's not what I'm referring to either, because the front plate on this one is 7. I'm referring to the back plate here was supposed to be the back plate for a 1934, not a 1934A. So because it's mismatched by year, that's why it is known as a mule. And you wouldn't know that without having a book to verify that. So it's not like you can just look at it. You do need the resource material in front of you to spot these. Either way, the mules were more prevalent than the others. If this was not a mule, it would be worth about $150. But because it is a mule, it's only $115. Number 5. Number 5 on the list, pulled out a $50 bill. This $50 bill also has got a little bit of writing on it right there, a little bit of pencil and a little bit of pen. But 1934B $50 bill. Atlanta, Georgia is there on the Federal Reserve. And this one was logged in at about $80 in the book. So another shorter printed note, a little bit of writing on there, so it probably isn't worth the full 80, but it was one of the bigger denomination bills that booked for well over its face value. So 1934B $50 bill comes in at number, what did I say, 5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, yep, number 5. Number 4. This one was fairly interesting to me. It's in decent shape. It does have a pencil mark on it, of course. It is a 1950C. And what you'll notice is technically it's a shift error. And I'm not sure which way to look at it. Because if you look right down here, the 2 does go into the other print. The 2 does, mix with the second printing. Remember, the back of the note is the first print. The president and the seal on the outside is the second print. And when you have the serial numbers and the Federal Reserve and the seal over here, that's the third print. So when you look at the third print, which also includes these 2s, that 2 is over the second print. So that is a shift error. And another thing you'll notice is that the seal isn't centered over the word 20. So that would give the appearance that the third print is shifted out of position, but you'd be wrong, because the third print is exactly where it's supposed to be. The portion of this bill that's shifted is the second print. Look at the border, how small the border is here and how wide the border is on this side. So if you would have taken the second print and shifted that over to where it was supposed to be, then the seals and everything else would be lined up where they're supposed to be. So yes, it's a shift error, but the shift is on the second print, not on the third print. Even the back is slightly shifted as well. Now, you can call it an off-cut bill, but like I said, the seal is where it's supposed to be. So I'm not sure if you'd call it a shift error or if you'd call it a miscut bill, but they are not aligned properly as far as the different prints go. So that was that one there. Number 3 on the list, another $20 bill. This one also was a shift error, but this one is centered properly. And you can tell it's a shift error because look at the 10. That is clearly over the other inking, the second printing there. You can see in the word 20 how this is clearly not centered. It's clearly shifted this way. So that is an easy example of a shift error on a 1950 $20 bill. It does have a little bit of writing on the back. Once again, a little bit of pencil. Maybe I can get that off. It's from Kansas City. Kansas City is always a shorter printed note, so I was excited to see that the note that I spotted as a short print also was a Kansas City note. Number 2 on the list. Going for a bigger denomination. This is a 1950 star note. 1950 star note from Chicago. Decent shape on this one. It does have a little crease, a little bit of a crease right there. But this 1950 D star note books out at $150. $150 for the $50 star note. Now, if that was it, that would be pretty cool. But also, it has the shift error as well. You can see the seal is not centered, and the 7 does go over the second printing. So I've got a star note, and if you look on this side, the star just about touches over there as well. So being a star note, it's already 150, and being a slight shift error may add to that as well. So that was number 2. And number 1, the best note that I found when I was doing my hunt is a note you probably would never know. I'll hold it up here. This is a 1988 $1 bill. It's in pretty good shape. It's in, pretty decent shape. Not perfect. Corner is got a little bit of a whoop-de-doo there. So it's in decent shape. This is a 1988 and looking at this bill, it's not a shift error. It's nothing like that. There's no misalignments, no anything funky like that. But what is special about this book, or this note, is the block that it's in. This is from the KC block. Now, when they say KC, K, of course, refers to Dallas. That's why the first number in the serial is a K. And the C, once they go through all the numbers, they flip from A to B. They go through it again, they go from B to C. But when they ordered the print run for these notes, the number that they settled on did not include all of the numbers in the KC block. What that means is that when they finally got to the K and the B flip to C, they did not print 99 million of these bills. In fact, this particular block was ridiculously short printed. Let me show you in the book. In the book, I'm using this book here because it shows the short prints. There we go. Series 88. Here's Series 1988A green seal. That's what I just showed you there. This book shows the blocks that were used. So, for instance, the Boston started with A and it went through AG. So you have AA through AG. They printed 672 million notes. And that's just an example of the serial numbers. But if I look at this one, we're talking Kansas City, KC, and the other thing we have to check is where it was made. Was it made in Fort Worth or Washington? There's no FW, so this one was made in Washington. So let's check this one. We're at 1988A, and if we look on this side, we're looking for we're looking for Dallas. There's Dallas. Our note is a KC note. There's KC. It has W for Washington, not FW for Fort Worth. So the KC block from Washington, if we look over, they did not complete the series, and it runs out at $175 because there were so few of those notes printed. $175 on this short printed block from Dallas, the KC block from 1988A. If you happen to find one of these, nobody you show it to is ever going to figure out why it's worth that much. And I hope that explains why there are so few blocks that are KC from 1988A. It's an extremely short printed block. Nobody would know to save such a thing, and that's why they're worth so much. Nobody saves them anytime they do run across them, so every day there's fewer and fewer of these. If you are lucky enough to find a KC block from 1988A, you're sitting on some money. So yeah, even though I've got $100 bills, $50 bills, and $20 bills over here, this $1 bill has the highest book value out of them all. All right, guys, that's my top 10 list for notes that I found in my bank hoard and my $1 old notes, the last 2 hunts that I did. Those are the top 10. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I did a good enough job explaining all of the different varieties on those, giving you stuff to look for. The resources you use are going to really improve the value of your collection, guys. So make sure to grab yourself a book so you can check out all this stuff yourself. Thanks for watching this week, and I'll see you next time.